Hello, Mr. Carl. How you been doing today?
I am excellent, Jarek. How are you doing?
I am always good. And one of my messages all the time is if you're asking me how I've been doing, I'm always good because nobody cares if you are PMSing or doing something wrong, right? So
That's true. We might as well just say you're good, right?
you always
Absolutely.
good. And that uplifts everybody, right? People are enjoying if you are good energy. And I'm so excited to have you today on this conversation. The reason being is I have seen you doing a lot of good stuff and enjoyed, following you on regular basis everywhere else. And kudos for you that because you've been one of those guys which started real estate investing. How many years ago?
Oh man, I guess 9 years ago, give or take.
Wow, time flies.
Yeah, almost a decade here since I first
we
started.
we getting younger, right? So
Yeah.
I have seen you, progressing and everything with the real estate investing, and you are one of those guys which succeeding in real estate, which is, challenging, definitely, right? So,
Yeah. Well, I remember first time you and I met, I was sitting in you had those monthly live events in Calgary, and I was sitting at the back of the room, really interested, but not knowing anything and afraid to talk to anyone and afraid to raise my hand and ask questions in case I looked like an idiot.
oh no way, man!
Yeah.
Really, right? I like an Indian. So you are that kind of shy guy, right? Is it?
Well, when I was getting started, yeah, I felt like I didn't know anything, and so it can be very overwhelming at first when you're getting going. So
yeah,
that was a long time ago.
However, that was a long time ago. Now I believe that you are, so excited and you love what you've been doing. So tell us more about yourself. Just
Yeah.
introduce yourself if you do not mind, right? So
Sure. Yeah. So I live in Calgary, and I grew up on a cattle ranch south of Calgary. And growing up, my dad was a rancher. My mom was a ranch wife, stay-at-home mom kind of thing, and they were both essentially self-employed. Neither of them had a boss, and I think that really stuck with me. Just the fact that I grew up in an environment of really, even though I don't think my dad really considers himself an entrepreneur, that's what our household was, right? We did things when they needed to be, but no one really told us what to do. My parents told me what to do, of course. But so I think that even though I didn't know, that really was ingrained in who I was. And growing up, I never had a goal of just a standard career. I started out wanting to be a rock and roll guitar player, electric guitar player. That was my dream, was to make it big playing guitar. And so even then, I didn't really have my eyes set on a typical career. And I think it scared my mom quite a bit because I wasn't really going on a path that was, I guess, what's considered normal. And so then I moved to Calgary and had that rock star dream in mind. I wanted to get in a band and make it big, and did that for, I don't know, maybe a decade or maybe a little less than that, and played guitar all over Canada. And, we were just slugging it out in a van, driving from small town to small town. And after a while, I realized it really wasn't the life I wanted. It was great when I was young, lots of great stories and things like that. But I just wanted something that was big. I've always had really big goals, and that was my first one. So that kind of phased out after a while.
Mhm.
But I wasn't really happy with the idea of just, okay, like, let's get a job now and, get in that rat race, that word everyone uses. And shortly thereafter, I found Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And I read that book, and that opened my mind. I was just like, okay, this is how I feel. Like, I feel like there's more out there than just getting a good job and working the 9 to 5 and then, eventually retiring and that's your life. And so that got me onto real estate. I'd also been down to Mexico and Costa Rica, and there were people there that were buying vacation homes in Latin America. And I really, before I knew anything, I really liked the idea of owning property somewhere. And I never really had my heart set on owning property here. I always wanted it to be someplace where I wanted to go and visit. And yeah, so I think what happened is I took one of those Rich Dad, Poor Dad courses. I think there was one that just went through town. They're going across Canada again, and I went to one of those because I didn't know really where to start. I just knew I wanted to be in real estate, and so that sort of was my starting point. And I ended up doing, the training that they provided, a bunch of their courses and things like that, and it just made me want to do real estate more and more. But what I found is a lot of the content, at least their online content and things like that, was more American based, as I'm sure a lot of people experience when they take those kind of courses. It is because America is so huge, and that's, the population, that's where the money is. So that's where their content is written. So I learned a lot of American style investing when I was getting going. And then I met you. I started attending your events, and you were obviously more Canadian focused. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll try Canada because I'm here. And I was really struggling. I didn't know what I was doing. And at that time, I was going to university studying to be a geologist. And I remember being in the cubicles, the study cubicles at the school. And my friends, my classmates would come up to me and they'd be like, "What are you doing? Can we study with you?" And I'd say, "Well, yeah, you can, but I'm not actually studying any of our courses. I'm studying real estate and doing some of the rich dad materials." And they always laughed at me because in their minds, they were going into oil and gas, and that was the gold mine. Like, they were on the path of riches, right? And I guess right now, we all know how that's panned out recently with the oil and gas market. Not that it's a bad career by any means, but I just never wanted to stay there. And I was trying to find my way out of that career before it even started, because I knew that real estate was the thing that was going to bring me freedom. And it was the only thing I wanted to do. So, yeah.
Long answer, right? But
yeah.
Very important message, which I believe that we should share with everybody is, right? Take an action, do whatever you feel like, be different than anybody else, right? Aside of, being a professional in the oil industry or any other industry, you can do real estate on the side part-time, and do not drop off your job right away because you want to do real estate investing, right? Develop a system and make sure that what is working and, improve the system, right? So let's talk about you are investing primarily in US, is it?
Only in the US, yeah.
Only in the US. Why only in US?
So yeah, just getting back to how I got my start. Shortly after, I met a gentleman who's pretty well known here in Canada. He's another Canadian investor named Mike Wolf. And he was at that time doing tours to the US and teaching Canadians how to invest in, I guess it was foreclosures back then, because that's when the market tanked in the US. And so I went to a couple of his presentations, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go someplace warm, and I understood the US from my other trainings. And so I took some of his training down in Las Vegas and Phoenix. And that's just how I got my start. So it was more just, it was available to me, and I decided it was a good opportunity. And so through him and his teams, I bought my first property. And with the help of some friends, we put our money together and did our first deal down there. And I learned, that's how I got my start. It's like when you learn a language when you're a baby, you learn, like I learned English, so it was easy to keep going with English, right? Same thing. So I just learned the ropes as a US investor, and I've not bought a house besides my own in Canada. So to me, it's foreign. Buying houses in Canada is a foreign concept.
Okay, so tell more about your deals. Which is the biggest deal you ever made, right? Like you start small, right? But you progress, right? 9 years is quite a long time. So what is the biggest deal you ever made in US or anywhere else? Sure.
So I've been investing in Houston, Texas for the last 3 years now. And so before that, I wouldn't really call it serious investing. But I've been full-time for 2.5 years and working in Houston. Yeah. Before that, I was just trying to figure out what the heck I was doing. So we've done some flips down there, but mainly I've been wholesaling, focusing on wholesaling real estate. And I really love that model. It's more of it's an active business model. Like if I have to keep doing it, if the money's going to keep coming in, I have to keep working. So it's not my end game, but I love wholesaling. And so the biggest deal, I guess, one that comes to mind, actually two. One of them, it was just after Hurricane Harvey, and all those homes flooded in Houston, and it was just crazy. It was very easy to find motivated sellers during that time, as you can imagine, because with so many flooded homes. And we had one gentleman that called us from a bandit sign that we put up on the street, and he had a very, very nice high-end home. So down there, 500,000 is a high-end home compared to a lot of markets in Canada. And we basically told him, like, look, we're not interested in buying your flooded house because the price point is just too high for what our investor buyers are looking for. And he bugged us to the point where we finally said, okay, how about this? We'll get it under contract for 10 days and we'll run it through our list of buyers and we'll just see, okay? But there's no guarantees. And by the end of the day, we had a buyer. And I think we made 30,000 on that one wholesaling that house, and we didn't even want it. So that was a really good one. It just fell in our laps. I say our because I have a partner down in Houston now, Clint, who's on the call here.
Very nice.
And so another deal we just did, we made 28,000 wholesaling it. And a lady called us up, and she had a house that her son was living in. And she owned it free and clear. He was just living there, I think just living there, not paying rent. And she wanted us to buy it from her and then owner finance it to her son. And I said, that sounds awesome. We already have a buyer, we have a seller. Let's see if we can put a deal together. And so I ran my numbers, and she agreed to our price. And then we got all the contracts signed. I didn't actually talk to the son, but the signatures came back, and we found out that she was actually forging the signatures for her son. He was actually blind or visually impaired, him and his wife. And so the son calls us up and says, hey, I don't want to buy this house owner finance. I can't afford the payments. I want to cancel this contract. So that was really weird, but we ended up just wholesaling the house instead. And similar story, we made 28,000 on that one. That was just this past month. So just deals come from all different angles.
So I know that you are not living in Houston, right? But you have an entire team and people there, like boots in the ground, right?
Yes, I do have boots on the ground. I've had various forms of that in my career.
So you are Canadian investor living in Canada, investing in the US, and is succeeding in it. Simple as that.
Yeah, simple as that. It's easy.
Kudos, man. Good. So why you have picked up Houston out of the,
Good question. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what the best market was. And I know, like so many investors, you get analysis paralysis, especially when you're getting started. And I think I wasted about a year trying to figure out what market to go into, and I couldn't decide. And at the time, I'd learned to buy at the tax foreclosure auctions in Houston, so I had a little bit of a team set up. And finally, I just said, you know what? I'm tired of wasting time and spinning wheels, and I'm just going to stay in Houston and go from here. And what I learned from that is you just got to almost throw a dart at the map. Almost. I mean, you can make a logical choice, but you're going to learn the market no matter where you invest, whether it's in Canada, in your own city. Every market's different. Every market has its challenges, and you're just going to have to learn and overcome them and just take action. So that's why.
Okay, so you mentioned that you do wholesaling. Are you implementing other strategies or whatever comes to the pipe, right? Is it?
Well, we look at deals from a couple different strategies when they come in. I'm not really big on fixing and flipping right now with where the market's at, but I love wholesaling because you don't have to actually own the property, and you're just assigning a contract. And then I love the owner finance model down in Texas. And that's more of my financial freedom plan, my long-term cash flow plan. And so if you're unfamiliar, because it's a little different than in Canada, but basically what we're doing is we're buying a home undervalued. And these are lower end homes, more rental type neighborhoods. And we're using private money to buy the home. and then we're turning around and selling the home to a new buyer with owner financing. Okay, so I'm actually being the lender for the new buyer. So the great thing about that versus a rental property is our buyers own it from day one. Okay. And so I don't have to worry about vacancy. I don't have to worry about repairs and broken toilets and all the headaches that come with landlording. And I do have some rental properties, and it's just, even though I have property management, there's still a lot of headaches that go with it. And with owner financing, that's my buyer's problem. I'm just the lender, and I have to just make sure that they're making their payments. And so the cash flow that we're getting from that is comparable to a rental property, but it's just cleaner.
So, I hope you understand one of the principle on real estate investing and getting, involved, and as many people offering the investment opportunities, which we are introducing you to the team and everything, right? So it's not about you, Carl. It's about whoever will be working with you, right? Whoever will be listening to that presentation and workshop. So give me a scenario. If I decided to be partnering with you, to working with you, what kind of investment opportunities I can work with you, right? What can you offer to me? Because honestly, that's what the priority is, right? We want to make sure that whoever is working with you, with your team, through me or through anybody else, is not about you, it's about them, right? Guys, straightforward, right? You want to make money, and we want to ensure that whoever will be working with you is the best guy to offer you the best services available, right? You have to make a good decision, right, while investing, right? That's why I decided to have a brief conversation with Carl, and then I see that he is offering valuable investment opportunities, and that's why I decided that I would like to work with Carl, right? So I hope you will convince everybody who is listening at this moment what you can offer to those guys, right?
Yeah, well, I think that every investor comes to that point, and there's basically two types of people. So you've got the investors that are actively grinding day by day, finding the deals, negotiating, setting up the deals, right? And that's great for a lot of people. I love that part of things. But all of those investors eventually need to work with other people in order to grow. And then there's a whole group of people out there that have a career and jobs and a life, but they want to seek the benefits that real estate investing can bring, correct? So when you pair these two groups together, it's very beneficial for both sides, because I love grinding and finding the deals, and then I love providing an investment opportunity for folks, both Canadian and American, where they can get in with a lot less work. They can create a great return for themselves and do deals over and over, and not have to quit their job, not have to go through all the headaches and speed bumps and everything that I've had to go through to set up a business in another country. Because it's not easy, for sure. And so with our owner finance model, I'm really excited about it, because basically what happens with our private lenders that we work with, these are those kind of folks. Okay, so they're putting money in to acquire these properties, and we're buying them at a deep discount. And the great thing is they're, I guess you could say, they're loan to value, right? Because they're lenders. Their loan to value is very low. We're talking like 50, 60, 70% loan to value. Okay, and so they're coming in and securing their loan on a property worth sometimes double the loan amount. Okay, and the benefit for our lenders is the same as I was just saying. They're getting a great return as interest every month, but they're not having to deal with the headaches that come with landlording either, right? Because as I'm sure you know, like, being a landlord is sometimes, if you get enough properties, it's almost a full-time job right there.
Oh, forget it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like, it's not so passive after a while, and sometimes even after your first deal. So we're offering people to come in a very secure position with that loan to value, and we're setting up the entire deal. And then my company's turning around and doing the same thing. I'm becoming a lender too, and we're owner financing it to our new buyer. So both parties, my company and our lenders, are making a great monthly cash flow on these homes. And the thing I like the best about it is in a recession, in a market that's going downward, like we might be seeing right now, we are selling these properties so that our buyers' payments are the same as rent. Okay. And when a market starts going downwards, you get rents going up typically. And this is, you can see in historical records where people can't qualify for a mortgage because lenders are tightening up their criteria. You get a lot more foreclosures, so people are forced to rent. So rents go up. And with our model, we're basing everything on rent. So we can actually sell our properties at a higher price when the market's going down. So that's extra, I guess, security and stability for our lenders and for us during this strategy.
So we have a question. When you purchase the property and provide VTB, maybe that is kind of small confusion about the logistics, right? So I would like you to elaborate. Sure. So does it that property is under the separate LLC format? That's the question.
So what's happening is my company I have a company in the States. Okay, It's a U.S. company. We are buying the property, and then our lender, our private lender or investor, they are just coming on as a lender, just like a bank would be. Okay, so they have the first lien on the property. Okay.
So then, it's not kind of VTB, it's kind of different structure, right? So it's selling the notes.
It's notes, yeah. You're basically creating a mortgage for yourself that's going to pay interest every single month.
Yeah, you're becoming a full bank, right? There is no bank involved at all, right?
No banks. Our private lenders are the bank.
Yeah. You know, like if I'm the private lender, if I'm investing with you, let's say it, right? I am the bank. There is nobody else. I'm on the first position, and I'm giving the mortgage, the note to the home buyer, and you are taking care of everything, right? Simple as that, right?
Right. So if I don't pay, you get the deed to the house.
Yep.
That's worth almost double. Yeah.
I don't know
other, like if you're investing in stocks and things go bad, do they give you the work truck, or do they give you get one of the restaurants or whatever it is? So that's what I love about it.
No way. So that's much more secure kind of investment strategy, which I like a lot, right? And there's not much headaches, to be honest with you, right? So
no.
Okay. So that question is answered. I hope that will be perfect, right? And so let's talk about where do you see yourself in the future with your operations logistics?
Sure. Well, we love Texas for so many reasons. I'm planning on staying in Texas. It's a very flexible state as far as the laws go. It's very investor friendly, landlord friendly, lender friendly. So there's not a lot of headaches when it comes to, like I say, foreclosing on someone or evicting someone. And if you look at, how Texas suffered the last recession, it barely noticed it. It's just a very strong economy. And so I love that. My goal with the owner financing is to create enough passive income from these loan payments so that I could stop wholesaling and my partner can stop and our families can stop working and we can take a year vacation if we want and we're still getting paid month after month. Because right now I have to wholesale because that's my job, but I want that freedom, right? And I think that's what many people go into investing for, is they want that freedom, right? They want that recurring income so that they can focus on what they love.
Okay.
So
okay.
So and then go ahead.
And no, I'm just I'm so excited to work with you. So
sure. And then the wholesaling side, I just want to grow that business as big as possible. And any deals that we don't keep with our owner finance model, we just want to wholesale and just grow our wealth and grow our business.
I see. And the most important thing, I believe it, and that's what my part will be also, is to provide as many valuable investment opportunities for people which they would like to learn how to invest in US, to provide quality information and make sure that whoever will be working with you, with us, we will be making the wisest decision ever, right? Secured by the real estate, and returns, they should be higher than an average investment opportunities in Canada. That's why I ask you about investing in US. Why you like investing there, right? Market is market is different everywhere else, and you have a system in place. Why not to offer those opportunities to people who would like to work and to make sure that their financial freedom and their retirement will be secured, more secured, and they will have a diversified portfolio. Doesn't matter if you invest in Canada or anywhere else, right? It's good to have some eggs in different baskets, right? So, Carl, I'm going to talk about upcoming event, right? So, if anybody would like to have more details, today is introduction. It's just a brief conversation with you to tell people, potential investors, real estate investors, who you are, why you are here, and why I have decided to invite you into the team. And we will be doing the upcoming presentations, where I will create right now. Let's do this one. How do you like this feature? Right.
Nice.
So guys, what we are going to do is we will have a presentation. You will get the information, and Carl will be providing all the details, how that works, when it's working, how that will be implemented. And please do not hesitate to register. And then we will be offering you investment opportunity and find it out how that works. So you can cross this if you decided. So Carl, how you marketing yourself? Tell me.
Myself or for houses? Because I feel like that's two different things.
What I'm talking about is you as a real estate investor, how you are getting more into having people like doing the presentations today, how you marketing yourself.
Sure. I've got a YouTube channel that I've done most of my marketing on and had most success from. And it's if you Google investmentpropertyusa.ca, that's what I use. And I've got a lot of materials on there because I know that there's a lot of investors, both Canadian and American, that just need help. And I'd like to share some of my stories and things I learn as I grow the business with them. So that's one way. I've got a meetup group here in Calgary. We also do webinars online every month. So we have a live event and webinars. And then just things like getting on here with you, Jarek. I love to reach out to more Canadians because I think there's a lot of people out there that are interested in the US, but they just don't know how to get started. And there's a lot of fear and a lot of misconceptions too. So
we will clear all those concerns, and definitely, and whoever knows me more in detail, they know that I am not BS guy, and I'll kick butt like crazy. As long as you will take an action, you will be successful, right? So guys, this is our promise. This is our promise to you guys. If you interested about investing in US or working with our team, you have to work hard, but you have the highest chances of succeeding than talking about, doing real estate and never succeeding, right, guys, right? Quality is not as important as, quality is the most important, right? My Polish English. Okay.
I'm just going to share there's a question about my YouTube channel, so I'm just going to get the actual link if that's okay, Jarek.
Sure, go for it, and repeat, please, right?
Yeah, I'm just going to pull it up here, and then I'll share it in the comments and repeat it.
Yeah, we are just to let everybody know, we will be utilizing that presentations. We are recording. We will be available in the podcast, Facebook, and everywhere else possible. So do not worry about that, right? And what's the name? How to Google?
Investment Property USA. Okay.
And additionally, is we have created separate portal and flow of the funnel, right? If you are interested directly, you are already so excited to work with us, and then you don't even need Carl to do the presentations to have it. Is streetsmartrei.com/US, and then you can fill up the form, or you can just simply say fill up here information right away, right? So if that's what you're looking for, that's what we are going to do it, right? So Carl, can you share, and what would you like to suggest to anybody who is thinking about investing? Doesn't matter investing in US or anywhere else. What kind of feedback would you like to give, and suggestions for anybody, beginner, person thinking about, hesitating? What kind of suggestion would you like to them offer to, in order to start their real estate investing venture, like repeating and following your steps or anybody else's steps?
Sure. Number one is a mentor. I think I've had various different mentors, but I've always had someone along the way that I was able to learn from. And, situations happen. This is a new thing for a lot of people. And every day I'm learning new things, every deal. So having someone that you can rely on to help you get through so that you don't stop and so you can overcome challenges without losing, that's big. And then just taking action. You've got to take, even if the smallest action step, I mean, that's the key. Every time I get stuck or things slow down, it's because I'm not taking the right or enough action. And then that momentum starts going and you start seeing success. So that's the key.
And I would like to add that one very important message, which I've been passing that message on a regular basis. You do not know what you don't know, and you have to ask. Keep asking, and then answer, keep answering, and teach someone else to answer, and teach someone else to keep answering. That's the normal progress of being successful real estate investor or any other businesses, to be honest with you, right? So,
and you can't be afraid of what you don't know, because it's going to find you no matter what. Like you just have to get going and you're going to learn. And it's not always going to be easy, but you're going to be better and stronger by just going at it.
So the question is, the message is ask, keep asking. Simple as that, right? So what kind of challenges you are facing as a real estate investor?
Sure.
That's the last question which I would like to ask, if there is no further questions.
Yeah, so deals is always a challenge, I think, for everyone. It doesn't matter what market you're in. Finding the deals, I mean, there's a lot of marketing involved. So that's always one, figuring out what marketing works and what's not working. And then the other thing, which I'm sure almost every investor has, is being able to scale means access to funds, whether that's lenders or partners or banks or whatever it is, getting the funds to be able to take advantage of those deals. And so finding the correct funding sources and lining those up with the deals at the right time.
Okay. So what kind of process are you using for people would like to work with you and lend the money, become a private lenders or joint venture partners? How are you structuring those?
So, well, I have a training course about private lending online that I like to send people to first. Gives them an idea of what they can expect and how it all works. And then from there, we usually just add people to, I've got a mailing list, and we just send deals out. And so people can just get a feel what the deals look like, what are the properties like, what are the numbers like, and ask questions. And then at that point, if they decide that they do want to work with us, that's great. We can just discuss and come up with a plan that makes sense for both sides and a deal that fits. So that's how, mainly right now, it's as a private lender is how I work with people. Okay.
So guys, we respect your time. This is just a brief conversation with Mr. Carl. We will be developing and offering presentations, workshop on a regular basis about investing in the US by utilizing the Carl's system. And I do really encourage everybody who is listening, watching, participating in this presentation to consider, ask the questions, reach out. There will be all the information available. Doesn't matter if it's live workshop or is recorded. That's not the reason. But we promise one thing, Carl? Whoever will be asking the question, there will be no answers left, right? There will be no question left. All the questions will be answered. Can we dedicate ourselves for that?
Absolutely. Yeah, anything real estate, U.S. real estate, I'd be happy to help for sure.
Definitely. Yep. So thank you very much, Carl. I am so excited to work with you, right? And
this is
anybody who are serious, just guys, doesn't matter if it's U.S. or anywhere else. I am so pumped up to make sure that as long as you take an action, we will be next to you and we will be making sure that you will be successful. You have to take an action. We will be not asking. We are not going to beg. We will be make everybody available within the team to make sure that you can be successful. Right, Carl?
Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to see you on the next presentation. I am so excited about how much information you will be providing, and all those links will be provided. Guys, jump it on it. Spend, an hour-ish kind of presentation, and then we will be guiding you through entire process if you decided to work with us. Thank you very much, Carl.
Thanks, Jarek. Appreciate it. See you in the next one.